What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to the second episode of Poor Man's PvP. In this one, I'm going to use a setup and team that I think is easily duplicated. For starters, we're going to be using Hawkeye, so I know that all of you have him. I will say that I am using the Tactician alternate, and I do have his Empowered ISO 8. Next, I'm using Captain America, also as a Tactician, and I have his Empowered ISO 8. And yes, I have been using Captain America a lot, but one of the reasons is because he's one of the few characters, and probably the easiest or most readily available one, that can put lock-on on all the enemies at once. Lock-on is a debuff which causes the enemy to take additional damage from ranged attacks. And I will discuss all of this more in depth in just a moment, but the item setup is the damage amplifier. We're using the Generalist Armor, then the Target Painter, which is another quick action item. It's subtle and it will place weak point on one of the opponents. Next we have the Golden Screaming Eagle, which you get when you 5-star all missions in Chapter 3. So that's pretty early on, and it continues to grow in power, and it does do quite a bit of damage. And that's really it as far as our damage dealing weapon. The great thing about this setup is this item can be replaced with any high damage item you may have. In fact, if you have something like the Custom Possessed Pistol or Custom 4-bore, it'll be even better. But really, this is just one of the most simplistic setups that you can win with, and I think it's readily available to just about anyone in the game. Not only that, all these parts are interchangeable. The only thing you may really need is the power of 4. You can farm that in Chapter 5, Mission 6. Now let me try to quickly explain the team up. You've probably noticed that Havoc's on a ton of defensive teams. Well, one really effective way to deal with them is to use Hawkeye. This is a character that everyone has. He's also a tactician, and you may want to get his alternate costume. But with his Empowered ISO 8, the Attentive Empowered ISO 8, he gains Hawkeye's initiative. Hawkeye will attempt to go first in combat. Then as long as the agent isn't a protector, you can just bomb on Havoc. If he doesn't have the Relentless ISO equipped, you can try to stun him right away. And then on top of that, if you get rapid fire procs, you'll be taking him down pretty quickly. And by the way, even if the agent is a protector, he's probably just going to protect from single target attacks. So you could still do things like place pinpoint target on Havoc, and then do an arrow volley. Pinpoint target also comes in very handy, and will hopefully help you hit with the Golden Screaming Eagle. Now as far as using your agent setup, you probably want to save the damage amplifier for the round when you're going to use power of 4. But you could use the Target Painter or any other item that you have that's similar to that to potentially set up an early kill. In the current PvP season, it's probably going to be Havoc. Also, like I was saying with Captain America, he does have the Discus Empowered ISO 8, or the technical name for it is the Fervent Empowered ISO 8. This is great for this team because on his counterattacks, he can place lock-on all the enemies, so you won't even have to use his shield throw. Obviously, lock-on's damage boost to ranged attacks works perfectly with Hawkeye and the Golden Screaming Eagle, or the Custom Possessed Pistol, the Custom Bolt Action 4-bore, the Custom Goblin Glider, any of those type of weapons. Also, to be honest with you, you could switch it to a melee attack instead. To do this, you may want to switch over to use Gambit or Heimdall. Both of those characters can place wide open on all the enemies at once. That's pretty much lock-on for melee attacks. Then for your weapon, you could use something like the Hand of Apocalypse, but I wanted to make this setup as easy as possible, so I didn't go that route. Alright, so far in this battle, their agent used the Shepherd Staff. We were lucky enough to take Havoc down early, but Mockingbird is an absolute monster. We also have to be very careful against characters with counterattacks. This is where our current setup kind of lacks. Just make sure to check out the last battle of this video to see how I address this issue. For now, Hawkeye's Impact Arrow is the only way to put off balance on the enemy. This means you'll definitely want to check for whenever it pops up. We got pretty lucky and we do have the Impact Arrow right now. So there it is, it causes off balance and staggered. I'll be honest with you, you could use the arrow volley and place it on all the enemies at once. So against a team full of counterattackers, you may want to look at that option. Not that you're even guaranteed to see the impact arrow, however. Now with my agent, the power of 4 is available, but I did use my damage amplifier. Since their agent has the most health, I'll use the target painter on him. You'll want to use your quick action items before you click on power of 4. So just make sure you do everything in the right turn order. Next we're going to use the power of 4 and then the golden eagle on Mockingbird first. She's next to act, so we want to finish her first, just in case something goes wrong. Maybe we'll need another shot. We actually do drop her with the first shot, so now we can concentrate on their agent. The first one is good, and it's a crit due to weak point. And we have 2 more to go, so we should be able to finish off their agent. He does dodge the second, and that's because of reality hacking. So here's our final shot. And it does 25k, and it's enough to finish the battle. That wasn't a bad warm-up battle, but let's go ahead and see if we can face a tougher team. And we definitely are. Now we're facing both Quicksilver and Havoc, and they have impressive stats. Their Quicksilver's going first, but sometimes Hawkeye actually beats him out. That is, with his E-ISO. Still, you're going to go before Havoc, unless he gains an uncanny coordination. This time he didn't, so let's go ahead and focus on Havoc. First I did a little check just to make sure they don't have a protect weapon. Havoc also doesn't have Relentless, so I'm going to start with a trick arrow. Sometimes it takes a while for the stun to pop up, so I'm not sure if I got it. But yes, we did stun him, and now we're going to get some rapid fire procs. Alright, so not bad for our first move. Now hopefully we get a few more rapid fires, and we can drop Havoc. But if we don't, at least he's stunned. And that's going to be it for this one. It wasn't too lucky, but at least we have Captain America up next. And we'll get 2 attacks if need be. Personally, I like to start out with the leading strike. So that's going to be our first attack with him. And he has just 780 HP left. Okay, well instead of wasting an attack, let's go ahead and use our shield throw. We're going to get counterattacked and a tag team, but at least we place lock on both the remaining enemies. And now it's going to be their agent's turn to attack. So let's see what happens right after this brawl. Wow, he does do quite a bit of damage to Cap, and then he uses the Neurotrope. So once again, we're in trouble with those counterattacks. And that's just a quick action, so let's see what else he uses. It's going to be the Voodoo Staff on my agent. That also does quite a bit of damage. So if we do shoot them, we're definitely going to get counterattacked. That means we gotta do as much damage as humanly possible. It's time to pull out the damage amplifier and the target painter, and we're going after Quicksilver hard. But hey, this is a perfect opportunity to show exactly what we can do with our very first attack. So here goes nothing, a Golden Screaming Eagle on Quicksilver. And it does over 52,000. That's pretty great for a generalist armor and a pretty basic setup. Now with Hawkeye, we're going to put pinpoint target on their agent. And this time we have the freezing arrow, so we're definitely going to get counterattacked. Still, I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can. He does have lock on, so he's going to take extra damage from this ranged attack. And our freezing arrow does do over 21k. And wow, now we got impact arrow. Unfortunately, he's still going to counterattack us. The counterattack was already coming, so that's just how it works. The good news is he does have off balance now, and he won't counterattack anymore in the future. Hawkeye's actually going to live through this one, and then Captain America will seal the deal. A leading strike, and that's going to be another win in the books. Now we're moving on to the third and final battle of the video, and I do believe I saved the best for last. How about a 66,000 health agent and a 65,000 health Havoc? Not to mention an infiltrator-powered Famine. But hey, at least our Hawkeye gets to go first because of that empowered ISO. This time Havoc can't be stunned, so there's no reason to waste our time firing a trick arrow. All we can do is fire that electrical arrow, and hope we get those rapid fire procs we so desperately need. Okay, so the first attack didn't even break his shield. Apparently they have the Savant Spear equipped, but we will cause some more damage from a static charge. Unfortunately, we didn't get a single rapid fire proc, so here goes our tactical maneuvers and second attack. First we get a sonic arrow, and luckily this time there will be a follow-up, and it looks like it's going to be a shrapnel arrow. So there it is, it does a decent amount of damage, but Havoc still has almost 30k HP left. Now the other concern is the fact that they do have the Warbringer axe, and they use it right away on Cap. Too bad it wasn't a ranged attack and we would have countered with a shield throw. But remember I said I was going to add something that helps with counterattacks. I removed the target painter and added the restored Delisle Commando Carbine. This is a stealthy ranged weapon that has a guaranteed hit and places off balance on whoever it hits. It can be found in Season 2, Chapter 1, Mission 5, on Challenge Mode. So there it is, that's my answer to the counterattacks. A free weapon that you can get right now, and it's a guaranteed hit and stealthy. That weapon right there is going to be a lifesaver against famine. Now with Captain America's turn, we're going to finish their Havoc, then I will gain an extra attack. So let's just go ahead and do back-to-back leading strikes. First on Havoc, and then on their agent. It would have been much too dangerous to attack Famine just yet. Now with Hawkeye, we're going to try to stun their agent. The Trickshots tooltip says it has a 60% chance to stun. And it does stun pretty often, more often than not. We got it, and it's always amazing to make the enemy agent skip their turn. Now just like I said last time, you want to use your quick action items first. So we're going to use the damage amplifier on Rogue. She's the most serious threat, she's next to act, and also she has the most health, so it's a no-brainer. Then after that we have to use the power of 4. Since the Horseman of Famine does so much damage from counterattacks, we're going to start by using the off-balance weapon. It's stealthy and a guaranteed hit. So basically that off-balance is a foregone conclusion. We don't quite take her shield down, but she does still have damage amplifier. Now we have up to 3 shots with the Golden Screaming Eagle. So our first one's going to do 40,000 damage. That's quite a hit. So hopefully our second attack will finish her off. It hits, and now we get to fire once on the agent. So let's see what damage we can do. He has no modifiers. So it's just going to do 19k. We can definitely work with that. So now with Captain America, we're going to use his leading strike, and that will place target focus on the enemy. Now it's just going to be up to Hawkeye to take out their agent. We won't take any chances, and we'll start by using a pinpoint target. Then it's going to be time for his level 1. So let's see, it's going to be a toxic gas arrow. And that's it, we pull off a pretty epic win. And just to show you how epic, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. However, I do often get asked to show someone's armory, and that's exactly what I'll do this time. Okay, so on the first page we have some Dragon's Foot, some Obliterators, and then some of the new Chalices of Wisdom. And I know that only the right side matters, but there is a Master Sword there as well. Then we have some more Obliterators, Cat's Claws, and that's basically the same on both sides there. Then this page is all Chalices, with Obliterators on offense. Then we have Tubes and Shields. And lastly, we have the Might of Adelan, and one Chalice at the bottom. So there you see an armory, and I usually don't show it, but that's going to be it for that. And now obviously I won't go through all the heroes, but I will take a look at some of the hero bonuses as well. Honestly, this is just way too time consuming. But here you go, here's level 13, Daredevil, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, etc. It looks to me like he has all heroes at level 13. Let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit, and we'll see the extent of it. We are coming up on the end of the video though. So let's go ahead down and look at Iceman. Iceman's also a level 13. So is Doctor Doom and Sunfire. even Domino's at 13, so I think it's safe to say they have all level 13s, and definitely not a weak armory. And that's going to be it for episode 2 of Poor Man's PvP. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped. Lastly, I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.